Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Rhodes.
And I'm Christina Guerrero, and hello, sweater weather. We are pretty much exactly halfway between the end of summer and the beginning of winter. So today we are doing a show all about fall.
And let's get started in probably the first place to feel the seasonal changes, your yard and garden.
Yet traditional wisdom says when autumn comes, you rake the leaves and lock up that garden shed until spring.
No, not so fast. We have some tips to keep your yard happy and healthy and maybe even surprisingly productive. That's our featured story at the top of the list.
The leaves are falling and cold temperatures are on their way, so that's it for gardening season, right?
Not true. I mean, if you really understand where you're at, what you can do, you can grow through the entire winter season.
No matter where you live, Justin Rohner, founder of agriscaping.com, is helping you get your yard winter ready. Starting by mapping out your winter microclimates.
Microclimate is really a location within the yard that exhibits a different climate than your traditional farming type environment, which is always full sun.
Describe this to me, because the sun is not always taking the same trajectory across the sky at different parts of the year.
So in the fall and winter, that sun takes a dive into the southern sky.
Meaning different parts of your yard get sunlight in different seasons. During the fall, A, B, and C zones on your microclimate map are the most ideal zones to grow in.
Now that we're in the fall, we're heading into winter, it's like this area actually gets a lot of full sun, which is perfect for extending our season and growing food all throughout the winter months.
So to make it easier to track your microclimates, head to Google to print a satellite image of your house.
In the fall and winter months, you can kind of see the yellow and the green zones are great growing zones, or red zones are great growing zones for the winter. And another place is the C zone. It has morning shade, but afternoon sun,
making it a prime sun location in the winter. But if everything's fully shaded, start prepping your yard for spring.
Justin, we've moved over into the shade, and what makes this not a good growing area for the winter?
Well, in the winter with the shade here, things just aren't going to grow. The soil's not going to be warm enough.
So to prepare for spring, consider solarizing or winterizing these areas.
Well, let's start with solarizing. What does that mean?
So we're going to cover this stuff all over with the plastic, put some rocks on it, kind of tuck them in there.
All right.
And what we're doing is we're basically stressing out the environment, but we're also warming the soil a little bit.
Essentially, you're creating a micro greenhouse.
We've already watered this, so this is watered, and then we put this on top. So it's going to force all these seeds that are here to start sprouting up.
This forces the weeds growing underneath to turn into compost, perfect for you to start winterizing. Start by placing cardboard over it.
I'm going to take my mulch, my compost, and I can literally pile it up to about a foot high with compost and mulch. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm building next year's soil.
And if you want to grow plants but don't have a lot of sun in the winter, consider growing vertical.
The roots are staying warm and you can extend the season. I mean, we've been able to grow basil year-round in those kind of beds that are higher up with the sun now hitting the base of the soil on those things. Really warms the soil and really makes that plant happy as can be all in the normal place, and it keeps it away from the colder air, which is lower.
We're saying goodbye summer by prepping your yard for winter at the top of the list.